And we are back. That was Ape Out, played on the PC. Available on the PC version of Game Pass. If you have Game Pass Ultimate or Game Pass PC, check it out. I'm joined now by Ben Joy again, and also, welcome to the show, Ben Gammon.
Hello.
Ben Joy appears to have frozen. Live TV. He's back. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
I'm glad you're here, Ben, because we're going to talk about product placement in games, which is an area that you know a little bit about and you've written about before, in fact, on our blog. Talk about some examples of product placement in games and whether we like them, whether we think they're good. I'm actually going to link your blog in chat if anyone wants to read it at their leisure. But don't read it yet, because you're watching us.
No.
Read it later. Save it in your bookmarks. So yeah, I'm just going to run down a list of some good examples, really, and some recent examples. We'll talk about them. I wanted to talk first of all about what I believe is one of the greatest product placement games of all time, and I've been quoted as saying this game is the grandfather of Fall Guys. Fall Guys owes all of its legacy to this game, and that is Doritos Crash Course for the Xbox 360.
We do like that game. We talk about it a lot.
I mean, it's a classic example. It's capitalism made manifest in the form of delicious triangle-shaped tortillas and total wipeout style action.
We should probably say at this point that this isn't a sponsored video by Doritos.
Is it not? I mean, Doritos...
I would be amazed if you had some product placement and you're like, today we're going to talk about product placement. I want to talk about Doritos.
I mean, Doritos, if you're watching, if anyone from Doritos is watching, my favourite flavour is chili heatwave. Send me a big bag. I'll eat them on every stream.
You are shameless.
I also accept other crisps. Any crisp vendor who's watching.
Wow.
Get in touch. Did you guys play Doritos Crash Course? Are you familiar with this?
I thought you were going to ask if we ate crisps.
Have you guys ever tried the sweet taste of Doritos?
Welcome to the Dorito Show. I never played it. No, I've looked at it after you told me about it for the third time. I've never actually played it myself. No.
Wow, you missed it out. Obviously, sorry, go ahead.
I think what's interesting there is kind of the differentiation between product placement and product branded game, because that's a product branded game, really. I mean, it's centered around Doritos, where another kind of product placement is where there's a product within the game that kind of seamlessly fits in, like kind of more as you see on TV programs and stuff like that. So I think they're both product placement, but just the differentiation between the two things.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I like Doritos Crash Course because it's so overt. Like, it's basically screaming "buy Doritos" in your face while you're playing it. But you're very right. There are a lot of what you might describe as more subtle approaches to this, and some of those are natural fits. So, you know, car licensing in games like Forza Horizon, real weapons, military shooters like Call of Duty, and I remember there was a big it makes it sound like it's more exciting than it is, but a big celebration at the time, a few years ago, when John Deere, the tractor manufacturer, finally agreed to be part of Farming Simulator. Which is, I mean, if you're a farmer out there and you're excited by that, more power to you.
Yeah.
We've also seen some recent examples of exactly the sort of kind of thing that you're saying, Ben, where it's not exactly subtle, but it at least is embedded in the game in some fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Death Stranding, famously, the main character loves Monster Energy. I'm also available, Monster, if you want to talk, give me a ring. Details down the bottom. And Wasteland 3, another Game Pass game, came out just recently. Top-down Fallout-style RPG. Classic Fallout style, I should say, for anyone confused by that. They have Snickers in it. You can find a Snickers and eat it, and it's good for you. Not sure about that last part. But... yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts, either of you, when you see a real product in a game? Do you like it? Or are you like, oh, that's a bit weird?
I think it depends whether it's, as you said, whether it's natural. If it's a natural fit, then cool, yeah. If it's funny, I'm gonna like it. If it's kind of like, what is this? Why is this here? This makes no sense. Then I'm not into it. I don't know what you think, Ben. Other Ben.
No, I agree. I think if you're expecting to see products in games, then fine. It doesn't like break the immersion. But if I was playing one of those games and I suddenly saw a Snickers, that would probably ruin a little bit of the game for me.
Okay, you wouldn't expect to see Snickers in your post-apocalyptic RPG.
I would love to see them,
Yeah,
but in real, you know, if it ever happened, but in
they'll be the
game,
first to
probably
go.
not.
The looters
Yeah.
snap all the Snickers up.
I think where product placement is really strong, where it probably has the best impact, maybe not the best impact, but where it's kind of the happy medium for advertisers and for players, is where you kind of don't notice it, but it's there and you can see it, but you maybe don't quite register that it's product placement. It's so natural, because I mean that's really the idea behind product placement, isn't it? It's you put something in there while you're thinking about something else, and it becomes embedded in your mind. Like that's the theory behind it, and that's where kind of like if you're playing a game, that's where it's really strong, because you're going to play it over and over and over again. So if you keep seeing this thing and you're not really registering it, but your brain is registering it, then that's where it gets embedded, and that's where the power is for a brand or an advertiser to put in a game without annoying the player, where you're like in the face, where like, yeah, you're running down the street to get away from like a zombie, and there's like a vendor being like, hey, want a Coke on your run? Like, that'd be weird. That'd be weird.
No, I like
But,
that.
So I think that's the sweet spot, really, where it's, you know, if that's what you're going for, if you're going for a subtle product placement, that's what you want to do. Whereas I said, like, I enjoy it if it's funny, like if it is actually in your face and the point is to be, this is really stupid, and I'll laugh at it. Like, it depends where you're aiming, and I guess it depends what kind of player you are and what kind of game it is, really. So,
I guess there's two sides to look at it from. There's the point of view of the game, where you would probably want it to be less obvious, more subtle. But then from the actual point of view of the product, you'd probably want it to be as big a talking point as possible. So in the case of Snickers, when people think of that game, they think of Snickers straight away. And from a product point of view, that's probably what they want.
There's definitely a balancing act. I like the fact that Ben Joy's preferred product placement, he just wakes up in the middle of the night sweating. He's like, I need a Samsung Galaxy tablet, and I want to join the Navy, and I don't know why.
just embed it, slow burn. That's where it's most satisfying.
Ben Gammon, you are one of the resident Rocket League experts in the studio, and they've had their fair share of brand partnerships, including Jurassic World, Fast and Furious, Back to the Future, lots of movie licenses actually. Batman vs Superman as well, didn't they? Do you use any of those? I know you're borderline pro player. Would you ever be caught dead in a Batmobile?
I don't know about the pro statement, but I have been known to use the Batmobile from time to time. It's the only one I've used of the additional cars that they've put in, but yeah, I'm all for it. I think what you tend to find is that it's better now, but in the past there was only like maybe 2 or 3 cars that got used, even though there was loads. And it's just nice to see variety, basically, in a game that you play a lot.
Yeah, and we should clarify, in Rocket League, all the cars are cosmetic. It's not like, they're like, hey, if you bought the special Pizza Hut car, you go faster. So it's not like it breaks the game. It's purely like almost a way of showing some kind of brand allegiance to a film that you're a fan of, or something that you like.
With the Rocket League example, is that, so when you're using the Batmobile, was that like DLC that you paid for, or is that like a partnership between Rocket League and the movie studios, that they'll put it in for free and that's the deal? Like, how is that typically in Rocket League? Because I guess there's 2 different models there, from like a partnership of mutual benefit and there's no cost to the player, or it's a partnership but a cost is passed on to the player to be able to.
Yeah, so all of those were paid.
Right.
It was basically like a couple of quid for each of the cars. It wasn't just cars as well, so they did some sort of like, some of them had goal explosions. So for Jurassic World, the goal explosion when the ball went in the back of the net like a T-Rex came out of the goal. That's pretty cool.
That does sound
Although,
cool.
Yeah.
although if you were on the opposite team and someone had that and you lost like by 4 or 5 goals, by like the time the third one goes in, you're pretty sick of that T-Rex.
Yeah, he's doing a wheelie in Dominic Toretto's Dodge Charger from Fast and Furious. The T-Rex roars behind you, and you're just there like, could you please skip the replay?
I guess the golden question, as we're talking about product placement as a means of advertising, is so you said you used the Batmobile. Did that make you think more about the movie? Did it make you more want to go to the movie? Was it more in your head from seeing it in Rocket League than it already was? So I guess I'm asking, did it work? Were you brainwashed by the product placement?
Did you see Batman?
Probably, I did, but it wasn't off the back of seeing it in the game. Do you know what I mean? It was.
You were already a fan, and this was just maybe a way of showing that fan side of you.
Yeah, and I think a big thing for when they have these new cars from films in there, if you can get the pro players using them, then you're obviously going to drive a lot of sales. So there were quite a few pros who used the Batmobile. I've seen some pros use the Skyline from Fast and Furious. I haven't seen any pros use the Jeep from Jurassic World.
You heard it here first. Jurassic World is trash. If you use that Jeep, you suck at the game.
So I personally wasn't that influenced by the marketing in the game to go see the film. But
yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned pros, because while we're putting together the material for this segment, doing the rounds on Twitter this week, and you may have seen this, Burger King decided to, and this is an interesting kind of real life crossover because they did this in real life. They sponsored Stevenage football team, which is a lower league team here in the UK, as part of our Premier League structure. Which, I mean, on its own is quite an amusing little bit of PR in itself. A huge multinational corporation backing a tiny team. But they kind of unveiled a video this week on Twitter which shows, I guess, what their end game was with it, which was because they knew that game, that team rather, was going to be in FIFA, they could leverage that and encourage the audience to play as Stevenage, but transfer the world's biggest players in. So they could transfer Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi and, you know, Gareth Bale, Salah, whoever you want, whoever's your favourite football star, you can transfer them into Stevenage and play as Stevenage. And they incentivised this a couple of different ways on a hashtag. There was some burgers you can win. I don't know how that works. You get a voucher code or something. But obviously the output of that is lots of footage, digital footage, but footage nonetheless, of, you know, the best players in the world playing in a shirt with the Burger King logo on it. And maybe not quite as good as seeing the real thing, but clearly a inspired and creative way to shoehorn your brand into a game. And
a lot cheaper as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, sponsoring a football club isn't cheap at the best of times, but I have to imagine Stevenage is a lot cheaper than anyone in the Premier League is. And yeah, that's been doing the rounds on Twitter. It's worth checking out the video if you've not seen it. It's interesting marketing campaign. Did you guys see this?
I did see it, yeah. I saw it the other day. Someone linked it to me on LinkedIn, and I watched it and thought, yeah, good idea. Really liked it. Nice to talk about something positive Burger King have done in the games space this year, based on past events. But no, I liked it. As you said, it was a really smart idea. The hook of getting people to, you know, incentivize them to do it, and then they reap the benefits of, you say, like seeing the top players in a Burger King shirt, and the stats they put up like in that video, like it worked. Like Stevenage was the most used team in career mode, which is hilarious. Like that never would have happened. So yeah, really smart idea. It's a bit different. It's nice to see different things, and it's clearly worked for them. It seems like it's worked. The stats they pulled out in that video are good. So yeah. I just thought it was fun, and that's for me when marketing is good, it's when it's fun, and especially in games, because that's what it's about. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. Let's go get burgers, because that brings us to the end of today's show. Burger King or other burger vendors are available. Thanks for tuning in today. If you've watched us, I know we had some internet issues halfway through the stream there, so thanks for sticking with us. We'll be back next week, assuming anyone's internet still works at that point, talking more about the latest news, playing some interesting games, and talking about marketing in games. Thanks very much for your time, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Call us. Doritos, call us.
Yeah, Doritos, call me.
Yeah,
Monster
well,
Energy, call me. I love the zero flavour.
I like how he's call me, not call us, call me
No, just
specifically.
me.
Adam
Don't
Burke.
call the others. Call me.